Talking about ideas, talking about names, let's spend one more minute on Manchester United. I told you in the last video, Man United are not done. I told you yesterday, I'm telling you today, and I'm telling you in this new video. Man United want to sign a new midfielder. Man United want to go for a new defensive midfielder, a player who can run, can bring also fresh legs in midfield. I told you that Man United have reached out in an exclusive update in the last video for Manu Kone, the French midfielder from Roma. They spoke only on player side at the moment, not bid to Roma yet, but they are talking to the player side. I'm told, and I told you in the last video, Man United are considering few options before deciding who is the player they want. Another option, in this case only mentioned internally in the meetings, has been also Eduardo Camavinga. So, Camavinga, Manu Kone, that kind of player. Defensive midfielder who can run, who can help with intensity, also physical. So this is what Man United are looking for. On Camavinga, Real Madrid don't want, Eduardo Camavinga doesn't want to leave Real Madrid this summer. Camavinga wants to stay, Camavinga wants to continue the club, Camavinga wants to be an important part of Real Madrid project next season. So the Camavinga story could only be possible if the player decides to go. But at the moment, Camavinga wants to stay at Real Madrid. So this is why the deal for Camavinga is complicated. But Camavinga, Kone, this kind of internal discussions, this kind of calls, because for Manu Kone there was a call with the agent of the player, are helping you to understand which kind of player Manchester United are looking for. So Andrei Santos, but also Yuri Tielemans, and then a player who can defend and can do that kind of dirty job in midfield. So that's also very, very important. Together, and let's start with Manchester United. We have to take some time to talk about Manchester United today because yesterday it's been Andrei Santos Day. Official statement, £50 million, 48 plus 2, and so Andrei Santos, the first midfielder. And today, Manchester United announced two more signings, confirmed two more signings. Because it's not a surprise if you're following all the updates here. On Thursday, Friday last week, I told you Karl Darlow, new backup goalkeeper for Manchester United. And so Karl Darlow is now official, 2-year contract, 1-year option. Darlow leaves this United and joins Manchester United. So good luck to Karl Darlow. And it means more changes at Man United because Altay Bajindir, the second goalkeeper, is leaving the club. Lammers will be the first goalkeeper, Karl Darlow will be the second goalkeeper, Tom Heaton will be the third goalkeeper at Manchester United, and so Darlow is the new second, and then also, don't forget, Andre Onana already left the club, Andre Onana on loan to Trabzonspor. So the goalkeeping sector for Manchester United changing a lot over the recent days. But then the big announcement. With all respect for Karl Darlow, the big name, the big announcement is obviously Yuri Tielemans. To Manchester United, here we go. Yesterday, a very quick deal. Why so quick? Because Man United paid the release clause. So they didn't negotiate with Aston Villa. They went there, they put £35 million and they get the player. 5-year contract, as I told you in the last video. Tielemans yesterday did the first part of his medical. Today he completed everything, also signing his contract. And then a beautiful interview today by Yuri Tielemans. Ambition, we want to compete for the biggest trophies. And then a clear message, when Man United call, you don't even think twice. And so Tielemans showing his excitement. I told you yesterday in a video, it was a dream for him to play for Man United. And today the boy was confirming this big desire and this big opportunity. Don't forget what I told you in the video yesterday. Man United are not done. Man United will sign and want to sign one more midfielder. So Manchester United are looking at defensive midfielders, physical players. So we have to see which kind of options they will have on the short list, but for sure Manchester United are still looking at midfielders. Many names among the defensive midfielders. Many of you asking me, can you give us some names? It's still early to indicate who is going to be the wanted player for Manchester United. I will tell you in the next days what's going to develop there. I can tell you, for example, that Manchester United made a call to the agents of Manu Kone from Roma, is one of the players they appreciate. There was a call over the recent days. Let's see if it's going to develop. They have more targets at defensive midfielders, but Man United are looking for that kind of player. So I'm telling you, Man United still want a defensive midfielder because they are calling around for that kind of player, Manu Kone and Lotolli. So there is going to be several options. Let's see what United decide to do. On Man United, also, Cristiano Giuntoli, the director of Atalanta, today in press conference confirming what I told you. Ederson to Man United, guys, I'm sorry, but I told you on Friday the deal is off. And I'm also sorry because someone said that Man United can review the deal maybe later on, can revisit the deal maybe in August. Guys, it's over. It's completely over. All these stories on Man United maybe later on we renegotiate is not true. Manchester United will not renegotiate anything. Manchester United decided against signing Ederson, sent Ederson back to Atalanta. Ederson is very sad, is very disappointed. Today, Atalanta director Giuntoli said, we are stunned by what happened with Manchester United. We didn't expect this at all, and confirmed that Atalanta have offered a new contract to Ederson. So Atalanta want to keep the player, offering a new deal. Now it's going to be on Ederson to decide whether he wants to sign the new contract or not, but showing that with Manchester United it's completely over. The player is really, really sad and disappointed, and Atalanta also don't want to negotiate with United for Ederson. So the deal is completely off. Forget all the narrative. On Friday they told you it's not true. Fabrizio is saying that the Ederson deal is off. It's not true. It's not true. Was off on Friday, off on Saturday, off on Sunday, and finally on Monday.
Manchester United fans, this is one transfer story that has really caught my attention. Manu Kone and Eduardo Camavinga are two midfielders with completely different profiles, but both would instantly improve this United team. The big question is, how realistic are these deals? Let's break everything down because there are a lot of reports flying around, and not all of them deserve to be believed. Let's start with Manu Kone. Reports from England suggest Manchester United have made inquiries about the Roma midfielder after his impressive performances over the last year. Roma value him highly, but financial fair play concerns could force them to consider a sale if the right offer arrives. That alone makes this deal one worth watching because United know there is an opportunity there. When I watch Kone play, I see exactly the type of midfielder Manchester United have been missing. He drives forward with the ball, wins duels, covers plenty of ground and isn't afraid to take responsibility in midfield. He isn't the finished product, but his ceiling is incredibly high. If United can negotiate the fee down from Roma's asking price, I genuinely believe this transfer has a very good chance of happening. Now let's talk about Eduardo Camavinga. Every transfer window, his name somehow finds its way into Premier League rumours. The problem is that there is still no strong evidence that Real Madrid are actively looking to sell him. Unless Madrid decide to reshape their midfield or Camavinga himself pushes for a move, this is one of those transfers that looks far more difficult than people want to admit. This is where I think people need to be careful. Just because a player's name is linked with Manchester United doesn't automatically mean negotiations are taking place. Camavinga is still considered one of Real Madrid's long-term midfield pieces, and clubs simply don't let players of that quality leave unless there's a very good reason. I've also seen Fabrizio Romano address these rumours by making it clear that, as things stand, there is nothing advanced regarding Camavinga to Manchester United. That's exactly why I always tell people not to jump to conclusions. Fabrizio usually waits until clubs have taken concrete steps before calling a deal serious, and right now those concrete steps simply haven't appeared. But here's where I slightly disagree with Fabrizio's approach sometimes. Because he focuses so much on confirmed information, fans occasionally think a transfer has zero chance just because he hasn't given it his famous "here we go." Football doesn't work like that. Clubs hold private discussions, agents make contacts, and situations change very quickly. No news doesn't always mean no interest. It just means nothing is advanced enough to report with certainty. If I had to rank these two deals today, Manu Kone is comfortably the more realistic one. The player fits what United need, Roma have financial pressure, and there are already credible reports of interest. Camavinga, on the other hand, would require several things to change before it even becomes a genuine possibility. My prediction? I think Manchester United have a genuine chance of signing Manu Kone if they decide to push with an official bid. I'd probably put that deal somewhere around a 60 to 70% chance if negotiations begin properly. As for Camavinga, I'd honestly rate it below 20% at this stage because too many pieces would have to fall into place before Real Madrid even consider opening the door. At the end of the day, if you're asking me which player Manchester United should go all in for, my answer is Manu Kone. He's more attainable, he's hungry, he suits the Premier League, and he could become one of the best midfield signings of the summer. Camavinga would be a dream signing, but right now it feels more like a fantasy than a realistic transfer. In football, anything can happen, but based on everything we know today, Kone is the deal to keep your eyes on, while Camavinga remains one to watch only if something major changes.